Hey everybody, really excited to meet with Ryan today, who is a new SDR who's been crushing his quota, ramped up really fast, and we'll definitely get into what has made him successful to date. Ryan, maybe for everyone's reference as we get into it, just share a little bit about your background and really your journey as an SDR so far.
Yeah, so I've been in first off, Eric, thanks for having me on the podcast. I remember watching a lot of these podcasts when I was first breaking in, so definitely very helpful, and I want to repay the favor. So I've been in sales for about a year at this point. Nothing like tech sales. It was similarly remote like B2C sales, but transitioning into tech sales is a totally different world. Like when you're selling to, B2C to like enterprise B2B, it's very different. The cadences are very different. The talk tracks are very different, right? So I broke into Docebo, an industry leading LMS in October of this year. My start date was October 8th. So still pretty new to the role on my second month of the quota. And yeah, excited to share with you guys what's working for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know, you're 600% to ramp quota, still a really strong start already in December. I'm
Mhm.
curious, your thought process for everyone's reference. You joined actually during the interview process, our SDR to AE accelerator program, which is typically designed for active SDRs. Maybe just walk everyone through your process of why you joined even before landing the role.
Yeah, so I feel like with all the free sauce you drop on YouTube, I didn't need to join a program just for breaking in, although I think there's definitely value in it. I felt like, okay, I'm already in the final rounds for an interview. I feel like I should just spend my time preparing for my role because like my manager said, like with these enterprise BDR roles, a lot of them you need some external help. And we have a great enablement team here at Docebo, no complaints, everything's been solid so far, but certain things aren't covered as much as you'd like to be, and that's ultimately why we have these programs on the market. So I was in the final rounds of interviews with a few companies, had Docebo as my number one pick, and I was pretty confident I'd land that role. And then while I was in those final round interviews, I was looking at different programs I can invest into. I'm sure you're aware of the gurus, but there's a lot of great programs out there. No complaints about anybody in particular. But what I was looking for was an all-in-one program like SDR Accelerator, where hey, you have the course, you have the community where you can make posts, um, message people like yourself and Chris privately, and have those weekly calls where the true value is. And that's ultimately what I was looking for. And when I came across you guys, saw the testimonials and the fact that my manager actually took the SDR Accelerator program, it was a no-brainer at that point. So I invested in the course. I remember messaging you on LinkedIn as well. And then here we are.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Great context. And yeah, I mean, there's some great nuggets out there for sure. But I think it's great to hear that from you because that's obviously our approach is like, yeah, I mean, here's a $200 pre-recorded class. Like, good luck, right? That's never been our approach. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. I guess on that note too, we were talking a little bit before, maybe giving everyone a sense who's maybe an SDR trying to break in right now. What are some of the things, whether it's in the SDR Accelerator program or you've just done yourself, that really have allowed you to set yourself apart early on?
Like break into the company or just hit quota fast?
Yeah, as a day-to-day SDR, hitting quota, really setting your career up well.
Yeah, so I feel like for every SDR, it's pretty similar in that initial like 1 month period where, hey, you have to get internally certified and all that boring stuff. So I feel like a mistake that I made early on, and you talk about this in the course quite a bit, is really enjoying that, 3 to 4 weeks that you're onboarding, trying to learn as much as possible because, hey, that's the only time in your entire tenure as a BDR or an SDR where you don't have enough number above your head, right? And you emphasize that a lot in the course. And although, I'm still doing great, I wish I just followed it a little bit more, scheduled some more internal meetings with some members on my team, built more lists and stuff like that. But essentially, I did do some good things in my onboarding period. I attended all of the enablement calls. I tried to understand my ICP as much as possible. I feel like that's very overlooked. Understanding what problems does my ICP face. For some context, I go after like people in learning and development, typically managers, directors, and a few VPs here and there. So understanding what problems they face on a day-to-day basis, the impact of those problems and how they're measured, so their KPIs. And obviously it varies depending on the seniority. For example, a manager of L&D is going to have a completely different problem to a VP. Typically, the higher up you go in seniority, I'm sure you know, Eric, it has a lot more to do with finance, right? So that's all still pretty new to me. And I guess every single day in my, every work day, I'm setting aside 30 minutes to an hour for ICP training. Some days instead of ICP training, I'm doing competitor training. Some days instead of competitor training, I'm doing, product training. I feel like all three of those things are very essential. So that's number one. Just, have product enablement, competitor enablement, and persona enablement dialed down. And ultimately, that's going to happen with time. Like I'm on my second month with Quota, and by no means am I a product expert or a persona expert. I'm still learning. But if I compare, my knowledge from month 2 to month 1, it's definitely very different. And consistently putting in the reps every single day has allowed me to do that. So that's number one. Number two, I'd say when you're in your onboarding period, like I currently am, but specifically within those first 4 weeks where you're getting internally certified, don't focus on just getting the fields and dialing right away. That's kind of one of the mistakes I made. I'd say, focus on building as many lists as you can, having your top accounts ready, and I guess having the arrows ready. That way, come month 2 and the number is above your head, you have like a list of prospects ready to go. So spend a lot of your time doing revenue generating activities, even if it's not calling or emailing, building lists, learning about your competitors, your product, your personas, like I mentioned. And yeah, that's about it. I'd say just preparing yourself for the time when you have your quota.
Yeah, that's awesome. And maybe on that note too, I'm curious, the overall progression. I know we're kind of coming up on 3 months in the role. You've had a lot of quick success. You mentioned some of the struggles you had. Is there anything that you feel like, hey, like this from, day 1 to the end of your second month, or anything that was really kind of like a light bulb moment that really turned it around for you?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say, focusing on certain prospects that I know have the most intent. Before, I was getting maybe 2 to 3 meetings a week, which is still pretty good. But now I'm getting closer to 5 to 8 meetings a week because I'm focusing on certain prospects that I know have picked up in the past. One thing a lot of us BDRs struggle with is a very low dial to connect rate. So I'd say focusing on low hanging fruit before you start breaking into net new accounts, it's very, very important. Because the way we have it here at Docebo, we have a lot of low hanging fruit, a lot of closed lost accounts, user gems, a lot of event leads that I've been tapping into. So I'd say focusing on that stuff before you try and jump into net new accounts. It's going to definitely accelerate your growth within those first 90 days. So I guess the top type of, reports that have been working for me very well have been obviously closed loss reports. So just seeing what prospects have spoken to us in the past, nothing within, the last 6 months, because it's too early at that point, like you mentioned in the course. But, any closed loss opportunities from early 2024, last year, people who, the project was delayed, their project was suspended. It's typically good to reach out to them now and say, hey, has anything changed? Notice we spoke a while back and the project got delayed. So closed loss opportunities specifically with the reason of project suspended, project delayed, maybe, product limitation, competitor and stuff like that. Even meeting no shows have been pretty good for me. And user gems I haven't been too successful with over the phone, but over LinkedIn and email, I've seen user gems crush, and a lot of my colleagues are, crushing it with user gems as well. So I'd say when I made that transition from trying to break into net new accounts and getting maybe 2 to 3 meetings a week, and then really focusing on closed loss opportunities and all the low hanging fruit we had, I think ultimately that is what allowed me to hit, 600% of my quota last month, and currently 200% of my quota for December.
Great stuff. And I mean, I'm sure there's tons more advice we could share with others as well. Maybe just in closing, if there's anything you feel you haven't shared with SDRs, and or for an SDR that's maybe considering training, on the fence about investing something like SDR to AE accelerator, what advice would you give?
Yeah, the way I look at things is if I can get one golden nugget, and that golden nugget, let's say, helps me book 1 more meeting, 2 more meetings, and I get an op out of that, like it just pays for itself at that point, right? And the way SDR accelerator is priced right now, I'm not sure if you plan on increasing the price anytime in the future, but the price as right now, I'm like, what can you lose by investing into it, right? Specifically in SDR accelerator, I'm sure a lot of people have, use the tech sales ascension program, or at least watch some of your free content on YouTube like I did myself. So if your free content is this good, then imagine the paid content behind the paywall, getting access to people like Connor, Chris, and even the other, fellow SDRs in the community. It's really priceless at that point. Even if you were to price the community at a higher price, I probably still would have bought it. But yeah, just going at it with the mentality that 1 to 2 golden nuggets and it pays for itself. And believe me, guys, there's a lot more than 1 to 2 golden nuggets in this community, especially the fact that you guys are constantly updating it. Like, Eric, I know before we started recording here, I mentioned that, I mean, Chris actually mentioned that you guys are dropping some more cold calling content with Connor. So the constant updates, the constant, weekly calls where new things are being dropped every single week, plus, lifetime access. I mean, it doesn't get better than that, right?
No, I appreciate it, man. And credit to you for taking advantage. Like, that's the biggest thing. We can give you kind of the tools and the infrastructure to do well, but ultimately at the end of the day, you got to take it, you got to apply it yourself, and love to see the results. 600% of your first month quota, already at 200% for your second. So excited to see where things go from here. And yeah, Ryan, really appreciate the time.
Yeah, man. Sure. Thanks for having me on.